Chakra. The more you really grow into spirituality, into freedom, the more you truly realize it really just comes down to one thing. Are you trying to make a comfortable, good life for yourself? Or are you willing to get rid of yourself? You see, the personal self is not comfortable. It's never comfortable. Well, it has moments of hope where it feels some joy, some happiness. But in truth, it's a worrywart. It just walks around day and night worrying. You don't realize it, but it's always trying to figure out what could go wrong and trying to figure out what to do about it. Trying to figure out what it wants, trying to figure out what to do about it. It's not very pleasant in general. Most people have never experienced pleasant, meaning just a state of absolute ecstasy where you can't even see straight. We'll call that pleasant. And so they don't understand how unpleasant it is to be one's personal self. The heart, in general, is not so okay. That's why we make such a big deal if we fall in love or something happens good. We talk about it all the time. It's the biggest thing. We make scrapbooks and so on. Why? Because it's not usually like that. It's usually not so pleasant. It's usually fearful. It's usually anxious. You're talking to people. You're afraid of what you said. You're afraid you did wrong. The heart's not so pleasant. It's just the truth. So what does it mean? It means one of two things. If things are not so pleasant, I'm telling you, you're going to try to do something about it. There's nothing you can do about that. Just as if somebody took a swing at you, your tendency would be to get out of the way, I hope. It's just a natural tendency to want to protect yourself, to want to feel okay, to want to be okay. You're not going to overcome that. That's a natural tendency, very, very instinctual. It's very deep. So this state of non-well-being, this state of fear, this state of depression, this state of anxiety, just whether it be mental or emotional, and it's both, they feed off each other, you're going to have an urge, an impulse to do something about it. Well, you have two choices. It really is very basic. Either you go outside and attempt to rearrange the world to look and be more like what you think will not be so troublesome and might even be okay. I would like it if people liked me. I would like it if people were respectful when I walk by. They kind of, there she is. Like they do to movie stars and stuff. That'd be good. I'd like it if I had unlimited wealth where I'd never have to worry about anything. I could go anywhere as I wanted. I would like it if somebody loved me so much that every time they saw me, their eyes got big and googled, and they were very affectionate all the time. Shh, don't tell anybody. And your mind thinks like that. It thinks about how things could be outside to where you would be better inside. That's one of the things your mind does. And so one way you can live your life if you're not doing so good is to decide what it is that you think would make you do better, and then go on and try to make it happen. So basic stuff. It's basic stuff. All right? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? How do you want people to be? What are you looking for? Why? Why are you looking for anything? Simple answer. Because I'm not doing as well as I'd like to be doing, and I've decided that this would make it better. Therefore, I want it to be that way. And I will put out the effort to try to make it be that way. Well, since you're dynamically and constantly changing, and so that your feelings and your thoughts constantly change, your thought about what you want and what you need will also dynamically and constantly change. You've never found a single thing ever in your life that when it happened, you became totally happy forever. You get a rush for a minute or so, and then you got to think about what's next. It's like, God, if she go out with me, I'd be so happy and so on. You will? What will I wear? What should I do? Should I borrow a car? My God, I wonder what she likes. Where will we go? Oh, she's going to think I'm a fool. I don't know where to go. You see, it didn't last very long, did it? It's just very funny. It doesn't stop, does it? So this thing about deciding what it is that you think will make you better and then going outside to try to make it happen is endless. So that in an attempt to get rid of your non-well-being, your darkness, you actually set in front of you a path which creates more darkness. Sometimes people get very depressed. They get very hopeless. It becomes hopeless because they've tried so many times to try to be okay, and no matter what they do, it doesn't work. And that in and of itself creates darkness. And then people can get very lost. Then people say, well, you just picked the wrong thing. You should get married. You should move to a place, get a hobby, do something. It's still about, I'm not okay. I have to decide what it is that needs to happen for me to be okay. Then I have to make it happen. And somehow if I pick the right thing, it'll work. I guarantee you, check anybody. It's never worked. It's never worked. It works for brief periods of time while it's a change, it's something different, all right? It gives you a little bit of a stimulus. But it doesn't stay. Your mind goes right back to doing the same old junk. And it's not just about what you want, it's about what you don't want. You're afraid of things. You want to avoid them. And so it's endless. If you're afraid of something, it could always happen. It's like some people are afraid to drive at night because they might get a flat tire. If I stop and ask them, how often have you had a flat tire at night? Well, never, but it could happen. Okay, so you never had a flat tire at night, yet every single time you drive, you're afraid. What is that telling you? That fear can be always. The minute your mind makes up what it doesn't want, you get to be afraid forever, don't you? Gibran said it very beautifully. He said, the thirst that exists when your well is full is the thirst that is unquenchable. If you're empty and your cup is empty, I could give you water. I could help you. But if your cup is full, but your mind says someday it may not be, nobody can help you with that. Nobody can ever help you with someday it may not be. Because you just locked yourself into a state of fear and unfulfillment for the rest of your life. I love you tremendously, but someday you may not. How do you know you'll love me forever? Don't ever have that conversation with anybody, please. There's no win on that conversation. None, ever. There's nothing you're going to say. The thirst that exists when your well is full is a thirst that is unquenchable. And so you can't, how can anybody answer that? You created your own fear in your mind. Nobody can make that go away. How could you prove to your mind that forever, under all conditions, that somebody's going to love you? You can't. Therefore, you just ruined it. And that's what the mind does. There's no win in this stuff. None. And yet, that's the path, the methodology that one sets out to do. It's very simple. You don't need a lot of words. I'm not okay. I have decided what I think would make me okay. And now I'm out there attempting to make it happen. And even if I'm wrong all the time, I keep trying, I just pick something else. I just try harder. It's like I never give up on that process. All right? Well, is there an alternative? Yes, there is. There's an alternative. Your only other alternative. It starts in the same place. I'm not okay. You have to start there. That's reality. I'm not okay. I don't feel joy in my heart. I don't feel great bliss or happiness. I get depressed. I have fears. I feel anxious. Just how it is. Okay? And instead of thinking about what you can do about it and then trying to make it happen, you don't do that. It's much deeper. Say, I'm not okay. Why? Now this is very subtle. If you had gone out and thought, well, why am I not okay? You think, well, I'm not married. That's why I'm not okay. I'm not married. I don't have somebody who loves me. Okay, I'll go out and find them. Do you understand what a lie that is? I guarantee you that you felt not okay first. The marriage is not what made you not okay. It's what you thought would fix that you're not okay. There's a big difference. You can't blame it on I'm not married. It would have been something else. The basics are you're not okay. You might as well have said, well, I haven't been to Europe yet. People don't respect me enough. I don't have enough money. My nose is too long. Pick anything you want. The net result is you were not okay first. And that's what made you think What's wrong? What do I need to do? What will fix this? Don't mix up cause with attempt to rectify. They're totally different things. Totally different. If you have a sickness, an infection, well, you need antibiotics. Oh, that may be something that helps you with your infection. It's not the cause of your infection. The lack of antibiotic is not the cause of your infection. There was some other cause of your infection. Because you're going to get very sick if you decide that the lack of antibiotic was the cause of my infection and start taking antibiotics all the time. You'd have to take them all the time. It was not the cause of your infection. It's not the cause of your sickness. The fact that your heart is not okay, the fact that you don't feel whole, the fact that you have depressions or that you have anxieties is not caused by what you decide will fix it. That is just your mind attempting to think, well, if this was different, I'd feel better. If I drove a fancier car, I wouldn't feel so insecure, so I wouldn't feel so anxious. That doesn't mean because you're not driving a fancy car, that's why you feel anxious. Don't confuse the two. The other path, the deep path, you're questioning why. Why am I not okay? Not what do I need to do about it. Why am I not okay? You're questioning the lacking that's in your heart. You're questioning the darkness itself. You're questioning the anxiety. Why is there anxiety? How do you figure that out? Don't think. Look. It's going on inside of you. You're in there. Look at it. Look at it. Try to see. Why is this going on inside of me? Don't think about it. Don't try to solve it. Just observe it, experience it, and see what that is. That in and of itself is a path. It is an alternative to trying to solve what's wrong inside with outside. Inside is inside, outside is outside. If there's something wrong inside, fix it inside. Then you won't have a problem with outside. The only reason you have a problem with outside, the only reason, is you're trying to use the outside to solve the inside. Otherwise it makes no difference. If you're sitting there and you're not happy, and you're feeling, well, to be happy, I want to go out and play tomorrow. That will help me. I'll go out, I'll play in the sun, I like to be in the grass. And then you get up in the morning and it's raining. Oh, that's terrible. Even the weather doesn't like me. How can you have a problem with the weather? It has nothing to do with you. It's totally impersonal. But you have a problem with it because you are not okay. You decided to try to fix yourself with the outside. And the minute you did that, the outside's a problem, isn't it? You projected your problem onto the outside. I feel lonely. Nobody loves me. Oh, he's handsome. I hope he pays attention to me. This is just a person on earth. It has nothing to do with you. Now it does. Now if the person doesn't pay attention to me, it bothers me. How can the outside bother you? Because you projected your inner problem onto the outside as an attempt to solve it. So now if the outside doesn't do what you want, it disturbs you more. You literally tied a link between what's wrong inside with an outer object. If the object turns left, your heart hurts. If it turns right, your heart hurts. How can outside make your heart hurt? It's because you took your inner problem and attached that outer object to it. Now that object can cause some damage, can't it? But you did that. It's not doing anything. You could want a car really bad and see it drive by and hurt your heart. You can do anything you want. You decide you want it to rain. You decide you don't want it to rain. Whatever it is that you project your inner problem to causes you problems or brings you joy. Either way. So your alternative is transcendent to connecting yourself to the outside. What does that mean? It means, what's wrong with me that I'm not happy all the time? Why don't I just wake up in the morning and feel joy like a little kid? Why don't I just in the middle of the day say, this is fun? And why don't I just go to bed at night and giggle? Woo, that was a trip. And go to sleep. And never, ever, ever think about it again. Never. Never think about anything that was said. Never think about anything that was done. That was like I went to Epcot yesterday, meaning the day, and now I'm going to sleep. That was fun. And then you get up tomorrow and you go to Disney World or go visit life, the different day of life. What's the difference? That's what it means to be okay. Because you're healthy, you're fine. You can just interact with life however it is. You're not trying to get something from it. You're just experiencing the joy of being alive, just experiencing life. You are capable of living in that state. How? I'm not okay. That's your starting place. Be okay with not being okay. Be okay with not being okay. My heart hurts. Be okay with your heart hurting. How? Watch. I need to go do something, but I got a scratch on my finger. Just a little paper cuts. Hurts a little bit. But I'm supposed to go paint the wall or something. What should I do about it? Well, is it bleeding to death? No, it just hurts. What do? Paint the wall. No, but I told you I have this little paper cut on my finger. I need to know what to do about it. Nothing. Just paint the wall. Are you incapable of continuing to go about your business just because you notice there's a paper cut? But what do I do about the paper cut? Notice there's a paper cut. That's all you do about it. What do I do if my heart hurts? Notice that your heart hurts. What do I do if my mind is weird today? Notice that your mind is weird. It's like weather. What do I do if it's raining today? Notice that it's raining today. What do I do if it's sunny today? Notice it's sunny today. What do I do if I feel joy today? Feel joy today. What do I do if I feel sorrow today? Feel sorrow today. What do I do if somebody broke my heart? Feel a broken heart. They're experiences. There's nothing to do about them. You don't sit there and say, how do I fix this? You don't need to fix it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just an experience. I don't need to spend my whole day figuring out what to do about a paper cut. It'll take care of itself. You just go about your business, and the next thing you know, the paper cut's gone. You go about your business, and the next thing you know, your broken heart is gone. Next thing you know, your fear is gone. Next thing you know, your anxiety is gone. It doesn't ever stay. It just comes and goes. What's the difference? That's the other way of living your life. It's not a philosophy. It's not a technique. It's life itself. It's the basis and principle of how you're living your life. Are you living your life on the basis of, if I'm not okay, that's a big deal. I mean, a really big deal, by the way, all right? And I'm going to figure out what to do about it, and then I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make sure I am okay. In other words, I'm very busy, aren't I? All the time. That's one way to live your life. The alternative is, gee, I don't feel so okay today. So what? So what? It won't be that way tomorrow. Don't worry. If you just leave it alone, it comes and goes. You're the self, the consciousness, and you notice that your heart goes through different stages, and that your mind goes through different stages. So what? Now, notice, first of all, you're liberated already. We talk about liberation. Jivan Mukta, a liberated soul. This is what liberation means. Liberated from what? Liberated from having to go out there and manipulate every single person, place, and thing that I run into all day for the rest of my life. That's seriously liberated. You don't have to do that. How come we don't have to do that? Because when things happen inside of me, I don't figure out what has to change outside for it to not happen. The weather can rain, I like the rain. The weather can sun, I like the sun. They be cold, I like the cold. The hot, I like the hot. Now what? I don't have to worry about it. The heart hurts, it hurts. The heart's happy, it's happy. The mind's quiet, it's quiet. The mind's noisy, it's noisy. Who cares? You then are free from having to do what everybody else does. You live in the world, but not of it. All of a sudden, Christ said, my burden is light. Your burden's light. You have no burden. That's what it means for your burden to be light. You all busy all day? Did you have a tough day? How? I'm not even going to ask you what happened today. I know what happened today. The earth spun on its axis. The earth did a 360, didn't it? That's what happened today. The earth just rotated on its axis and went around the sun a little bit. And tomorrow, next day, been doing it billions of years, 365 days a year. Whoa. Probably up to trillions, who knows. That's a lot of times it's done that all by itself. You feel a burden about all that? Are you busy? Pedaling hard? The answer is you don't have to do anything. You're just along for the ride. And you feel different things at different times. Your liberation is something very real. It means you don't have to do anything like that. It means you have no burden. You're free from the burden. The world didn't change. You changed. It's like someone who puts on dark glasses and then says, God, it's dark, I can't see. Turn on some lights. No, put more light over there. Walk with me, I need to go somewhere. You're busy for the rest of your life. You got to have light all around you. You need people to carry the lights. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is take off the glasses. It is those glasses that are causing the whole thing to be the way you're seeing it. So either you leave the glasses on and then try to fix it externally, or you take the glasses off. That's what this is. Either you just notice that you're not doing so good inside, but you who's noticing is fine. The consciousness that sees that the heart hurts is not the hurt heart. It's the consciousness, it's the awareness. Look, my heart hurts. Look, my mind's complaining. Look, my mind's making stuff up. He's sick. Probably they should lock me up. I've never seen it be this weird. I'm not going to tell anybody. They probably would lock me up. There, good. So sit in there and watch your sick mind. Who cares? Just don't do anything about it. Don't do what it says. Why would you do what it says? You're sitting there watching. You are the witness. You are the consciousness. You are the Atman. You are the seer. You see the heart. You see the mind. That's it. That's what you do. Nothing else. Nothing. If you take that seed of consciousness and permit life to unfold and let the inside go through what it needs to go through, even before you are what we think of as spiritually liberated, you're already liberated. You're liberated from having to be a human being and go through this junk that people go through. How would you like to never worry about what anybody thinks about you? I will give you a guaranteed method right now, instantaneously, that will make it so you don't have to worry about what anybody ever thinks about you ever again. Okay? The part of you that cares about whether they think about you, don't care about that part. It's that simple. If that part starts to get weird, just notice it. Hum a little bit, do a mantra, who cares? Don't care, don't suppress. Just watch the part of you that cares about what people think about you. And you will be freed from having to act or worry or get involved in what people think of you. Your way out is that fast. That's how long it takes to be liberated. You can't change all this. These are some scars. These are your past patterns. It takes a long time to change all that. But you're not it. You don't have to change it. You just witness it. You just notice it's that way. Look, she's weird. Look, he's weird. Okay? Look at how it's being today. Look, he's scared. Look, he's anxious. The minute you're not it, you're not it. So now what happens, you're immediately freed from having to play the game everybody else does. As long as you are willing to let be what is, you don't have to mess with it. Now the world can go about its business and does whatever it does. You don't care. You didn't use it to try to fix you. You just accepted, honored, respected, experienced you instead of tried to fix you. Now what? Now that you're sitting behind all this, the energy starts to build up back in the self. And you start to feel this joy well up spontaneously from inside of you. You feel rushes of energy from back behind, not from up front, where you used to get your energy. It comes from back here. It's deeper. Why? Because the spontaneous energy that you used to waste doing all this work outside needs someplace to go. It goes up. Well, everything gets attracted back into the self. And when you feel that energy welling up, it literally is joy, ecstasy, love. It's what we call the spiritual experience. And that experience is so beautiful and so spontaneous and so pure that you literally do stop caring about what's going on out there. So your way out is in. You will not gain anything by deciding what everybody else has to do for you to be okay. Because you're going to be so busy trying to make them be that way, you'll never be okay. It has to be that you're okay within yourself. Now, of course, participate in the joy and the fun and the dance. It's not a dance for renunciation. People come, people go, situations come, situations go. So what? Who cares? Have fun. Now you will have fun because you don't care. If you have a job, work. If you're married, be married. If you're in love, be in love. Dance the dance of life. Fully, totally, fearlessly. Why? You're not trying to use life to fix what's wrong with you. You're sitting behind it, observing, witnessing, releasing. And at some point you will not participate in the humanness anymore. Because the joy that wells up inside is so much more beautiful than anything you ever felt from outside that you just hang back in there. And the world will still go about its business. Don't worry, it's been doing it for billions of years. It just doesn't have that extra meaning. The third Zen patriarch, he says, when a thing can no longer offend you, it ceases to exist in the old way. When a thing can no longer offend you. That's what we've been talking about all night. Sometimes people say things, do things, don't say things, and it bothers you, doesn't it? Why? Because you projected your problem onto that person. When a thing can no longer offend you, it means it can just go about its business and it doesn't offend you. It ceases to exist in the old way. The old way is, this is my friend, this is the person I need, this is mine. It has a relationship to you. When you need a relationship with it, you project your need onto it. That's the way it exists. As I and mine and this and that. In other words, it exists in relationship to your problem. When no longer you're doing that and the thing can't offend you, it just is what it is. And the Zen word, just tree. You see a tree, it's just a tree. It's not your tree. It's not like the tree you used to climb in when you were little. It's not there should be more trees and these people are cutting them down. Right? No, it's just a tree. There's no you at all. There's just tree. That's what it means, ceases to exist in the old way. These states open up to you as you dive deep inside. All your problems go away, even if the human has problems. Maybe you love somebody tremendously and they leave you. That's wonderful. If you love somebody and they love you, that's beautiful. If you love somebody and they don't love you, it's wonderful. If you love somebody and they love somebody else and it doesn't bother you, that's gorgeous. If you love somebody and they love somebody else and it bothers the hell out of you, that's even better. Whoa. Why? You are alive. And you're living inside a human. Okay? And humans feel different things. You're getting to know what it's like. You're getting to experience what makes the world go round, aren't you? People write poetry. People paint paintings. Great art comes out of these deep states of pain or sorrow or joy, don't they? What's wrong with being alive? Being alive involves loving someone and they love you. Being alive involves loving someone and they don't love you. It involves everything. It involves playing a sport as hard as you can and winning. It involves playing a sport even harder and losing. Why? Because it's life. Because all things are life. You have to attain a state where your state of consciousness is, the planet does not belong to me, and the people on the planet don't belong to me. I'm a guest, a visitor. I'm here for a few years spinning around the sun. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to have these experiences happen. I am the self, the Atman. I sit behind. I watch the world dance, and I watch the human react and respond, all of which is beautiful. I'm willing to learn about everything. I'm willing to experience everything, alpha to omega. Light and darkness are the same to me, because I'm the one who sees them both. That's what it means to be transcendent. You are the one who sees joy and sorrow. You see sickness and health. You see love and disturbance. Why do you see it? Because it's there. That's why you see it. As you work with that part of you, you become liberated. You become completely free. And like I said, all the energy you used to waste outside to try to make things be a certain way, that energy naturally, spontaneously flows inside, up and in, instead of down and out. It will rush up from inside spontaneously. More rush than you ever got from anything in your life. Welling up spontaneously, wave after wave, inside of you. That is the Holy Spirit. That's the rush of the chi, of the Shakti. It's natural. Why is it rushing up? Because you're not rushing it out. It's like normally it rushes out a whole lot, doesn't it? Don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. Now. Either trying to stop everything or trying to make everything happen. There's a lot of juice going out there, controlling, manipulating. Wait till you see what happens when you don't do that. It comes back in and goes up all by itself. As you fall into that flow of energy, You start to know the self. You start to understand why people are the way they are. You understand everything. It is your path in and of itself. So that's your choice in life. It's a very basic choice. Very basic. When things are not all right inside, which is pretty common, by the way, either you think with your mind, without realizing, you think with your mind what will make it better, and then you try to make it happen. Someday you will give up on that as a method of bettering yourself. Because that is not bettering yourself. That is reinforcing your ignorance. All right? Bettering yourself is to see things are not okay. Why? They should be. There's nothing wrong outside ever. There's never anything wrong outside. Never, ever, never. There's just outside. That's like saying the weather's wrong. The weather can't be wrong. There's just outside. It's wrong to you because it's not the way you need it to be for you to be okay. It doesn't make it wrong. That's you projecting your stuff out on it. So your alternative is just sit there and say, I would rather sit in and notice that it's not okay than to go out there and try to project my problem onto every person, place, and thing in this world. Ever. Again, never will I do so. And so you sit within and you let go. The game is not to fix it, it's to let it be. You just keep falling back into the self by letting go, relax and release. And then naturally, the whole spiritual journey will unfold inside of you. And you will end up loving your life and loving the world. I told you it's not renunciation. It's freedom enough to participate. Jai Gurudev.